The yellow school bus rolled to a stop in front of Pinewood Observatory. Kids from Evergreen Elementary jumped up from their seats, eager to get outside. "Remember to stay with your buddies," Mrs. Garcia called out as 24 excited fifth graders filed off the bus. Jack Miller adjusted his backpack and nudged his best friend Lily Peterson. "I bet we'll see some cool stuff today," he whispered. Jack was small for his age, with messy brown hair and bright eyes that missed nothing. Lily nodded, her blonde ponytail bouncing. "I read that they have a new star projector that shows galaxies nobody has seen before." The class followed their teacher into the White Dome building. Inside, the main hall was cool and dark. Glass cases showed off space rocks and old telescopes. A tall man in a blue uniform greeted them. "Welcome to Pinewood Observatory. I'm Greg, your guide today. Who's ready to explore the universe?" 24 hands shot up, and Greg smiled. "Perfect. First, we'll visit the planetarium to see the stars, then the telescope room where you can look at the real sky." The children followed Greg down a long hallway. Jack stayed at the back of the group, watching everything carefully. Something felt off today, but he couldn't say what. The air seemed to buzz, like the feeling before a storm. "You okay?" Lily asked, noticing his frown. "Yeah, just a weird feeling." The planetarium was a round room with seats that leaned back to face the ceiling. As everyone settled in, the lights dimmed until it was completely dark. "We'll start with a tour of our solar system." Greg's voice came from somewhere in the darkness. The ceiling lit up with thousands of stars. A glowing blue-green Earth appeared, slowly spinning. Kids gasped and pointed. Even Jack forgot his worries as planets and moons moved across the dome above them. Then it happened. The stars on the ceiling flickered once, twice. A high-pitched sound made several kids cover their ears. Mrs. Garcia stood up, looking concerned. "Is everything?" she began. A flash of brilliant white light filled the room. It was so bright that Jack couldn't see anything for several seconds. When the light faded, the room was silent. Too silent. The star show had stopped. The emergency lights came on, casting a weak red glow. Jack blinked, trying to clear his vision. "Mrs. Garcia." Someone called. No answer. Jack looked around. There were empty seats where kids had been sitting moments ago. His heart began to race. He counted quickly. Only 12 children remained, including him and Lily. Mrs. Garcia was gone too. What happened? Sam Bennett, the youngest kid in class, asked. His voice shook. Before anyone could answer, the doors to the planetarium burst open. Observatory staff rushed in, looking confused. "The power went out for exactly 3 minutes," one woman said. All the cameras stopped working too. Greg stared at the half-empty room. Where are the others?" "Call the police," someone shouted. "Call everyone." Within an hour, Pinewood Observatory was surrounded by police cars, ambulances, and news vans. Parents arrived, crying and demanding answers. FBI agents in dark suits walked through the building, taking pictures and asking questions. Jack sat with Lily on a bench outside as chaos swirled around them. Agent Diane Curtis, a woman with kind eyes and a serious face, knelt in front of them. "Did you see anything unusual before your classmates disappeared?" she asked. "Just the light," Jack said. "And that weird sound." "Like ringing glass," Lily added, but louder. Agent Curtis wrote in her notebook. "We'll find them," she promised, but Jack could tell she wasn't sure. As the sun set, Jack's parents finally took him home. From his bedroom window, he could see strange lights moving in the night sky. They weren't airplanes or satellites. They moved too fast, changed direction too quickly. That night, miles away from Earth, Jack's missing classmates woke up in glass containers on a massive ship. They pounded on the clear walls, calling for help. Strange tall figures with blue-gray skin moved between the containers, watching with large dark eyes. The children had been taken, and soon someone would pay. 3 days had passed since the children vanished. In Pinewood, parents couldn't sleep. Police searched everywhere. News people filled the town, asking questions no one could answer. At the NASA lab just outside of town, Dr. Alan Morgan rubbed his tired eyes. For the third night in a row, his equipment picked up strange signals coming from behind the moon. He checked his data again. Something large was hiding there, something that shouldn't exist. "I need more proof before I tell anyone," he muttered to himself. Meanwhile, strange things were happening in Pinewood. TVs showed static at the same time each night. Dogs barked at the empty sky. Cell phones rang with no one calling. Jack Miller sat on his front porch, watching the stars. His parents were inside talking to Agent Curtis again. They all wanted answers Jack didn't have. "Hey," a voice said. Jack turned to see Lily walking up his driveway. Her eyes had dark circles under them. "Can't sleep either?" he asked. "No, I keep thinking about them. About where they might be." Jack nodded. "I think they're up there." He pointed at the sky. "And I think they're still alive." "How do you know?" "I just feel it, like they're trying to reach out." In space, far from Earth, the missing children were indeed alive. They floated in individual glass tanks filled with clear gel that let them breathe and move. The aliens, tall creatures with 4 arms and smooth blue-gray skin, watched them through the glass. "Let me out," Cody Parker shouted, hitting the tank wall. The aliens didn't react. They couldn't understand human speech, or they didn't care. In the next tank, Zoe Fisher curled into a ball, crying silently. Next to her, Sam Bennett had fallen asleep after hours of yelling for his mom. Only in the last 2 tanks was something different happening. Jack's empty bed at home had a reason. He wasn't really missing. The Jack on Earth was a copy, created by alien technology as a way to study how humans at home would react to the disappearance. The real Jack floated in his tank, eyes closed, mind racing. Instead of panicking, he was studying the aliens. Every 6 hours, they changed shifts. Every 10 hours, they ran tests on the children. Simple things like showing pictures and measuring responses. In the tank beside him, Lily was doing the same. When the aliens weren't looking, she made hand signals to Jack. They had created a simple code, adding to it each day. 4 taps meant, "I found something." Hand flat meant, "Wait for the aliens to leave." Finger pointing up meant, "I can hear you in my head." This last discovery had happened yesterday. Somehow, when the children concentrated hard, they could sense each other's thoughts. It wasn't like talking, more like feeling what others felt, knowing what they knew. Jack focused his mind. Asterisk can anyone hear me? Asterisk. Asterisk yes. Asterisk came Lily's thought. Asterisk and I think I understand some of their symbols. The ones on the wall mean human subjects. They're studying us. Asterisk. Asterisk, I've been watching how their door systems work. Asterisk, Jack sent back. Asterisk, there's a pattern to the lights. Red, blue, green means locked. Blue, red, green means open. Asterisk. One by one, the other children joined the mental link. Even Sam, the youngest, could sense simple feelings of fear and hope. Asterisk, we need to work together. Asterisk, Jack thought to everyone. Asterisk, learn everything we can. Find weaknesses. Asterisk. Asterisk, why do they want us? Asterisk, Zoe asked through the link. Lily's thoughts came through clearly. Asterisky think we're not the first humans they've taken. I saw other tanks when they moved me for tests. Bigger people. Adults. I think. Asterisk. A chill spread through the mental link. Asterisk, we need to get out of here. Asterisk, Jack thought. Asterisk, and we need to warn Earth. Asterisk. As night fell on Pinewood, Dr. Morgan finally made his decision. He picked up the phone and dialed a number few people had. "This is Dr. Alan Morgan of NASA Pinewood Station," he said when someone answered. "I need to speak to the president immediately." I have evidence that we are not alone in the solar system, and I believe they have our children. President Samantha White stared at the images on the screen. The photos from NASA's Space Telescope showed a massive ship hiding behind the moon. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. "How certain are you about this, Dr. Morgan?" she asked. 100%, Madam President, and I believe this is connected to the missing children." The room fell silent. General Martinez, head of Space Command, stepped forward. "We have the U.S. Defiant ready for launch. It's our most advanced spacecraft." President White nodded slowly. "Prepare it for immediate launch. This mission is top secret." At Pinewood Elementary, the remaining students struggled to focus. The empty desks of their missing classmates were constant reminders of what happened. Jack, the copy created by aliens, felt strange, like he was missing parts of himself. Sometimes he had dreams of floating in a tank, seeing creatures with blue-gray skin. Lily, also a copy, had the same problem. After school, they met at the playground. "I had another dream," Lily said. "I was in a room with the others. We could talk without speaking." Jack nodded. "I had it too. It feels so real." "Because it is real," Lily whispered. I think we're not the real us." On the alien ship, the real Jack and Lily had made progress. The Vexari, as they called themselves from the symbols Lily had translated, had moved all 12 children to a larger space. It looked like a park on Earth, with grass and trees, but the sky was just a gray ceiling with lights. "They want to see how we act together," Jack told the group. They sat in a circle, using their mental link to talk so the aliens couldn't hear. "I found something," said Kevin Washington, a tall boy who remembered everything he saw. "There's a panel under the fake grass near the big tree. I think it's a door." That night, when the lights dimmed to simulate evening, Jack, Lily, and Kevin snuck out of their sleeping area. The other children created a distraction by singing loudly, drawing the attention of the Vexari observers. Under the tree, Jack pulled back the fake grass. A metal panel with strange symbols appeared. "It says Maintenance Access," Lily translated. Jack studied the panel. The pattern should be blue, red, green. He pressed the colored buttons in that order. The panel slid open, revealing a dark tunnel. "Let's go," he whispered. The 3 children crawled through the tunnel for what seemed like hours. Finally, they'd reached another panel. Jack carefully opened it, and they peeked out. What they saw made them freeze in fear. The room beyond was filled with glass tanks. In each tank floated a human adult, eyes open but empty, tubes connected to their bodies. They moved slowly, like robots following commands. "They're people from Earth," Kevin gasped. Lily pointed to another door. "Look." Through that door, they could see more rooms. One had teenagers. Another had small children, younger than Sam. The last room made Jack's blood run cold. It held old people whose bodies seemed to be changing rapidly, aging before their eyes. "They're studying our whole lives," Lily whispered. "From babies to old age." Jack pulled his friends back. "We need to get back before they notice we're gone." As they crawled back through the tunnel, Jack's mind raced. The Vexari weren't just curious scientists. They were taking people from Earth to study them, like animals in a zoo. Back in their sleeping area, Jack gathered everyone close. "Listen," he said, his voice serious. "I know what they're doing now. They're studying humans at every age. And I don't think they plan to send us home when they're done." Sam's lower lip trembled. "What will they do to us?" Jack looked at each frightened face. "I don't know, but we're not going to wait to find out. We're going to escape." "How?" Zoe asked. "We're in space. First, we learn everything we can about this ship," Jack said. "Then we find a way to contact Earth. And then—" Lily finished his thought. "And then we make these aliens regret ever taking human kids." Back on Earth, in a secret launch facility, Captain Frank Howard boarded the U.S. Defiant with his crew. His nephew was among the missing children, and he had made a promise to bring him home. "Mission Control, this is Defiant," he said into his radio. "We are ready for launch." The U.S. Defiant moved silently through space, its new stealth technology hiding it from Earth's own radar systems. Inside, Captain Frank Howard studied the mission details again. The ship carried 20 crew members, including 5 Special Forces soldiers. Their orders were clear: find the alien vessel, confirm if the children were aboard, and bring them home. 3 hours until we reach lunar orbit, announced pilot Susan Lee. Captain Howard nodded. All crew prepare for possible first contact. Back in Pinewood, the parents of the missing children had grown tired of government secrets. Paul Miller, Jack's father, worked as a computer programmer. Olivia Peterson, Lily's mother, was a science teacher with a background in physics. Together, they formed a group with the other parents. "The government knows more than they're telling us," Paul said during a meeting in his garage. Maps and printouts covered the walls. "I hacked into NASA's system last night." Gasps filled the room. "You what?" someone asked. "They're sending a ship to the moon," Paul continued. "They found something there, something not from Earth." Olivia stepped forward. "I analyzed the observatory data from the day our kids vanished. There was an energy beam that matches nothing in science books. It came from space." "What are you saying?" asked George Bennett, Sam's father. "Our children were taken by aliens," Olivia said simply. "And I think the government is trying to get them back." On the Vexeri ship, the children had begun their resistance. During their daily tests, they pretended to be scared and confused, hiding their growing knowledge. Each child had a job. Kevin memorized the ship's layout from what they could see during movement between areas. Zoe collected small items that might be useful. Sam, the youngest, watched the Vexeri's routines and schedules. Jack and Lily led the planning. At night, they would gather in a circle, using their mental link to share information without the aliens hearing. "I found out why they can't understand that we're talking this way," Lily said through the link. "Their species doesn't have these mental abilities. They don't even know we can do this." "Good," Jack replied mentally. "What about the control room?" "I've seen it," Kevin reported. "When they took me for brain tests yesterday, we passed it. It's big, with screens showing Earth." Jack nodded. "We need to get a message to Earth somehow. Let them know we're here." "But how?" asked Zoe. "We can't even get out of this fake park." "Actually, we can," Jack smiled. "I've been testing the door panel every night. I found a pattern. The guards change shifts at the same time the door codes reset. There's a 10-second window when no code is needed," Lily added. The children leaned closer as Jack explained the plan. Each would have a role to play. Some would create distractions, others would gather supplies. Jack, Lily, and Kevin would try to reach the control room to send a message home. "When do we do it?" Sam asked, his small face serious. "Tomorrow," Jack decided. During the sleep cycle, aboard the U.S. Defiant, the crew spotted their target. "Sir," called out Radar Officer Ben Garcia, "I'm picking up something massive behind the moon." The main screen showed a ship that dwarfed their own. It was shaped like a giant oval with multiple rings around its center, clearly not built by human hands. "Life signs?" Captain Howard asked. "Many," replied Science Officer Maya Pottle. "Most aren't human, but wait." She adjusted her equipment. "I'm detecting what appear to be human life signs in one section of the ship. Small signatures, consistent with children." Captain Howard's jaw tightened. "Position us for approach. All weapons systems on standby." He stared at the alien vessel, thinking of his nephew and the other children. "We're coming for you," he whispered. "Just hold on." Unknown to the humans, the Vexeri ship had already detected their approach. The ship commander, a tall Vexari with decorative markings on his blue-gray skin, studied the tiny Earth vessel with curiosity. "Interesting," he said to his officers. "The humans have space travel capability. Should we destroy their ship, asked his second. No, the commander decided. This presents a unique research opportunity. Prepare for first contact protocols. The commander didn't know that the real threat wasn't the approaching ship, but the 12 children already aboard, preparing their escape. Alarms blared throughout the Vexari ship. Red lights flashed in every corridor. The U.S. Defiant had been detected, and the entire vessel was on high alert. Perfect timing, Jack whispered to the other children. They huddled near the fake tree in their habitat. The Vexari guards were distracted, their attention on screens showing the approaching Earth ship. Everyone remembered the plan. Lily asked. Heads nodded. Sam, Zoe, and Ben, you create the distraction. Jack said. Cody, you and the others get the door. Lily, Kevin, and I will find the control room. Sam, only 8 years old, looked scared but determined. I won't let you down. When the habitat lights dimmed for sleep cycle, the children put their plan into action. Sam, Zoe, and Ben ran to the far side of the habitat, screaming and throwing things. 2 Vexari guards rushed to stop them. At that moment, Cody and his team reached the main door. The shift change was happening, and just as Jack had predicted, the door controls reset. For 10 seconds, the panel flashed all colors. Now, Cody yelled, pressing the emergency door release Jack had identified. The door slid open. Alarms were already sounding from the human ship's approach, so no one noticed another alert. Jack, Lily, and Kevin slipped through the door and into the main corridor. This way, Kevin whispered, pointing left. His perfect memory guided them through the twisting hallways. Meanwhile, on the command deck, the Vexari commander opened communications with the U.S. Defiant. Unknown vessel, this is the Vexari research ship Enlightenment. Why have you approached our position? Captain Howard's face appeared on the screen. This is Captain Frank Howard of the U.S. Defiant. We know you have taken children from our planet. Return them immediately. The commander blinked his large, dark eyes. The subjects are part of an ongoing study. We cannot release them. They are not subjects, Captain Howard said firmly. They are children, human children. And if you don't return them and all other humans you've taken, we will be forced to take action. As this conversation happened, Jack, Lily, and Kevin crawled through a maintenance tunnel. They had narrowly avoided guards twice already. The control room should be just ahead, Kevin whispered. Jack peered through a grate and saw a large room filled with screens and control panels. Vexari technicians moved quickly between stations, all focused on the human ship. How do we get in? Lily asked. Before Jack could answer, they heard a commotion from elsewhere in the ship. Sam and the other children had escaped their habitat too, and were running through the halls creating chaos. Sam wasn't supposed to leave. Lily said, worried. He's creating a bigger distraction. Jack realized. Let's use it. They waited until most technicians left the control room to help with the escaped children. Only 2 remained. Ready? Jack asked. His friends nodded. They burst from the maintenance tunnel, surprising the 2 Vexari. Jack threw a tool he had taken from the habitat, hitting one alien in the head. Kevin tackled the other, knocking it down. Lily, the controls, Jack shouted. Lily ran to the main panel. The symbols matched what she had been studying. She pressed several buttons, and a communication screen lit up. It's working, she cried. I think I can send a message to the human ship. Back on the Defiant, Communications Officer Laura Jones turned to Captain Howard. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from inside the alien vessel. It's in English. The message appeared on screen. This is Lili Peterson. 12 kids aboard. Adult is 2. Send help. Captain Howard stood up, his eyes wide. They're alive and fighting back, he said with pride. Tell the Special Forces team to prepare for boarding. We're getting our kids back. On Earth, in the White House Situation Room, President White and her advisors watched both ships on the screen. Defiant reports the children have taken control of the alien communication system, General Martinez said. They've confirmed all 12 children are alive. The president nodded. And the weapon? Ready if needed, Madam President. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, she said quietly. Back on the Vexeri ship, Jack looked at his friends as alarms blared around them. Phase 1 complete, he said with a smile. Now for Phase 2. Chaos filled the Vexeri ship. Alarms blared as blue-gray aliens rushed through corridors trying to recapture the escaped children. Sam led his group on a wild chase, ducking into rooms and crawling through air vents just as Jack had taught them. Keep moving, Sam called to the others. Don't let them catch you. In another part of the ship, Jack, Lily, and Kevin worked quickly at the control panel. Can you open the docking bay? Jack asked Lily. She studied the symbols. I think so. This one means entry port. She pressed a series of buttons, and a new screen appeared showing a large door opening on the side of the ship. It worked, Kevin said. Now the human ship can get in. Jack nodded. We need to find the other humans. The adults they've been testing. A sudden noise made them turn. A door slid open, and 5 Vexeri guards rushed in, holding strange devices that glowed blue at the tips. Run, Jack shouted. The children bolted for the maintenance tunnel, but they were too slow. The blue beam shot out, freezing Kevin in place. Another beam nearly hit Jack, but he dodged at the last second. Just as the guards closed in, another door burst open. A woman in a black uniform appeared, holding what looked like a gun. Behind her stood 3 men in similar outfits. Get down, the woman shouted. The children dropped to the floor as the humans fired at the Vexeri. The aliens fell back, clearly surprised by the attack. Are you Jack Miller? The woman asked, kneeling beside him. Jack nodded, eyes wide. I'm Dr. Karen Lewis from the U.S. Defiant. We're here to take you home. Lily pointed at Kevin, still frozen in place. Can you help him? One of the men examined Kevin. Stasis field. I think I can disable it. He pressed something against the boy's neck, and Kevin gasped, able to move again. We need to hurry, Dr. Lewis said. Captain Howard is meeting with the Vexeri commander, but it's not going well. Wait, Jack said. There are other humans here. Adults. The aliens have been testing them too. Dr. Lewis looked surprised. How many? Dozens, Lily answered. Maybe more. They're being kept in special rooms. We can show you. In the command center, Captain Howard faced the Vexeri commander. 4 armed Special Forces soldiers stood behind him. Your children have caused significant damage to our research, the commander said, his voice oddly flat. They must be contained. They're fighting for their freedom, Captain Howard replied. Something your species clearly doesn't understand. The commander's large eyes narrowed. We have studied many species across the galaxy. Humans are unusually difficult. You haven't seen difficult yet, Howard warned. Return all humans you've taken, or face the consequences. At that moment, his communication device beeped. Captain, this is Dr. Lewis. I've found the children, but there's more. The Vexeri have been abducting humans for years. There are at least 30 adults being held in some kind of mind control. The captain's face hardened as he stared at the Vexeri commander. You've been taking our people all this time. For science, the commander said simply. Meanwhile, Sam's group had found the adult holding area. The 8-year-old approached a glass tank containing a woman with empty eyes. Hello, Sam said, placing his hand on the glass. To everyone's surprise, the woman blinked and focused on Sam. Something passed between them. A connection. She can hear me, Sam realized. I can reach her mind. He concentrated harder, and the woman's eyes cleared. She looked around, confused but aware. Do it for the others, Zoe urged. Sam moved from tank to tank, touching the glass, forming brief connections. Each adult began to wake up, their eyes showing fear, then anger. On the U.S. Defiant, Engineer Liam Wright reported to the bridge. "Captain, I've identified a weakness in their propulsion system. One targeted strike could disable their ability to leave Earth orbit." "Do it," Captain Howard ordered. The Defiant fired a precise beam at the alien ship. The entire vessel shuddered. The Vexari commander received the news from a panicked technician. "The humans have disabled our main drive." Howard smiled coldly. "Now, about returning our people." 3 months had passed since the children returned to Earth. Pinewood looked normal again, but nothing would ever be truly normal again. Jack sat on his front porch, watching clouds drift across the blue sky. His parents thought he was the same Jack who had never left Earth. The government had decided it was better that way. The alien copies had disappeared when the real children came home. "Hey," Lily called, walking up the driveway. She carried 2 ice cream cones. "Chocolate chip, your favorite." Jack smiled and took one. "Thanks." They sat in comfortable silence. Only the 12 children and a few adults knew the full truth about what had happened on the Vexari ship. "Did you have the dream again?" Lily asked quietly. Jack nodded. Since returning home, all the children shared the same dreams, memories of their time in space, the mental link they had formed, the escape. "I keep seeing the commander's face when he realized they had lost," Jack said. He didn't understand how children could beat them. "That's why they lost," Lily replied. "They study humans but never understood us." At the White House, President White met with Dr. Morgan and Captain Howard in a secret room deep underground. "What's the status of the Vexari ship?" she asked. "Gone, Madam President," Captain Howard replied. "They left our solar system 2 weeks ago after releasing all human captives." "And the agreement?" Dr. Morgan opened a folder. "They signed the treaty. Earth is now listed as a protected planet. No further study or contact without permission." "Good," the President said. "And the technology we recovered, already providing breakthroughs in medicine and physics," Dr. Morgan explained. "The adults who were held longest have some interesting abilities we're still studying." In Pinewood, a special classroom had been set up for the 12 children. They needed to be together, their shared experience creating a bond that couldn't be broken. Sometimes they still used their mental link, though it was weaker on Earth. Sam had the strongest abilities. He could touch people and sense their thoughts, a gift that sometimes scared him. Today, he sat with the school counselor, a kind woman who didn't know the whole truth. "My nightmares are getting better," Sam told her. "I don't see the blue people as much now." The counselor nodded, writing notes. "That's good, Sam. Time heals all wounds." But Sam knew some things wouldn't heal. Some things had changed forever. After school, all 12 children gathered at the playground. They did this every Friday, away from parents and teachers who couldn't understand. "I found something," Jack told them, pulling a small device from his pocket. It looked like a clear marble with tiny lights inside. "Is that?" Kevin began. "From the ship," Jack confirmed. "I took it before we left. It's a star map." He pressed the marble, and tiny points of light appeared above their hands, showing stars and planets. "These are all the places they've been," Lily explained, "all the worlds they've studied." "There are so many," Zoe whispered. "And look here," Jack pointed to a small blue dot. "That's Earth. We're listed as dangerous now." The children smiled at that. Dangerous. Yes, that was right. "They won't come back," Ben said. "But others might," Jack replied. "And if they do, we'll be ready." Sam looked up at the darkening sky. "Do you think there are other kids like us out there? On those other planets?" Jack put his arm around his younger friend. "I hope so. And if they ever need help, I think we know what to do." Lily nodded, her expression serious. "And if aliens ever come back for more of us, they'll regret it," the children said together, looking up at the first stars appearing in the evening sky. As night fell over Pinewood, the children headed home, carrying a secret bigger than anyone could imagine. They had faced the unknown and won. They had taught an advanced alien species an important lesson. Never, ever take human kids.